guys, so right now I am about to experiment with trying to sew two frontals together to make a bigger frontal. So just a little disclaimer for why I'm doing this. I don't know if you guys realize or not, but there has been a lace shortage ever since the pandemic kind of started. There's been a shortage on like really good lace, so a lot of companies now are selling hard lace or like really dark medium brown lace, which doesn't blend into the skin seamlessly. And they're also, when they sell the 13x4 frontals, they're not the original size that they used to be. So originally, before the pandemic, the 13x4 frontals gave you a lot of room. Now they're cutting back on the space of the parting space that they give you on a 13x4. So it's not a true 13x4 anymore. And then you guys know that when you wear frontals, when you pluck the areas for the baby hairs, and then in this area you also wear lace glue, when you take it off to reinstall it, it starts to cause balding and shedding around the front. So eventually you do have to cut off an area of the front where it's just naked lace to create a new hairline. Well, eventually that causes you to not really have any parting space at all, and you're stuck with a wig that looks really wiggish because there's not much parting space left. Well, I decided, I saw people sew closures together. I decided to sew two frontals together to make like a larger frontal, similar to like a 13x6 frontal in a way. I wanted to make a larger frontal so that I can have deeper parting space so that it looks more natural. I bought this clear thread from Amazon. I'm going to be using a normal sewing needle. I have my scissors nearby. And then I also have some clips in case I need to clip any hairs out of the wig. So I'm going to go ahead and start the process. I'm just going to film through. This is my first time doing this, so it's going to be trial and error. It may not work out, but I still wanted to record it just to see if I could work something else with this or not. So I'm going to start by braiding my frontals to make sure I have the hairs out of the way. Now that I have both of the frontals all braided down so that there's not any hairs in the way, I'm going to go ahead and try to line these two frontals up as best as I can get them without overlapping too much. It's going to be a little bit hard because the two sides are not shaped the exact same. So what I did is this was the front of one frontal and this is the front. If you try to sew the back to the back, it's not going to fit because it's going to be too much space. So you have to try to sew the back to the front of a frontal, and it'll meet a little bit more seamlessly that way. So I've never used this thread before, and one thing I noticed is it seems like a really small thread. As you can see, you can barely even see this thread. Like, that's why it's like an invisible thread. You can barely even see it. You kind of see a little bit there in the shadow, but it's really thin and it's like a clear thread. You can barely see it, which is supposedly going to help us get a more seamless look. Why does she have to use the blow dryer right now at this second? I don't even know how to even get a knot. This is like the size of a hair strand.
Approximately 10 hours later.
A little disclaimer that I'm learning already and that I saw in the reviews. It's almost impossible to get a knot with this thread because it's so small. This thread is literally like the size of a hair strand. So it's going to almost be impossible to get an actual knot to form with this. It is so thin. It's literally like one single strand of hair So imagine trying to tie one single strand of hair into a knot. I got a little bit of buckling right here in the middle, right up in here, but I'm pretty sure once I sew the wig on the actual cap, I won't have that buckling anymore. But I do have a tiny bit of buckling, which was expected because the frontals weren't the exact same size. But this is it all completed from the back, and then this is it all completed from the front. It's just like one bigger frontal. Because my frontals weren't the same size, you can see a little bit of the pleating in the back, but you cannot see this pleating through the front at all from the way that I sewed it. I'm gonna part it where I sewed it at, and trying to find it. I'm gonna part it where I sewed it at, and up in here you can kind of see up in there where I kind of got some hair caught into the stitching, like right here you can see where I got some hair caught into the stitching. But then all you do is you take you can even take the needle that you sewed the hair with, and you can just take the hair and grab the hair with that needle and then just pull it out, and it will pull out. Just make sure you're not pulling the thread, but see, the hair will pull out from where you kind of accidentally sewed it at. Okay guys, so as you can see, I have a old wig here that I made with an old frontal on it, and I do glue my tracks down when I make my wigs. So as you guys can see, I just have it pinned a little bit since I'm going to be sewing a new frontal on. I don't want to miss and sew too much fabric, so I want to make sure that it's stretched out enough to fit on my head. So I do just want to show you guys, this is like how it looks where I glued my tracks on at, and then this is my frontal here. I'm putting down my new frontal. So what I did was I wanted to use an old wig so that I can kind of make sure that I have this fitting my head right. You can easily do this with a new wig cap, but just because this is my first time, I wanted to use an old wig cap just to make sure that I kind of get a better fit. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take the frontal and I'm going to line the front of the new frontal that I made up with the front of this one, so that way I know that it's sitting at the same spot and my wig will fit. So I am just going to take a pin and I am going to line as you can see, this frontal is balding. Sorry, my allergies. I'm gonna line this frontal up. The middle of this frontal, I'm gonna line it up with around the middle of this frontal. So that's letting me know that my wig is going to sit where I need it to sit. You get what I'm saying? So I make sure that my ear tabs are in the right spot on both sides. So I make sure that my ear tabs are in a good spot on both sides. And then once I have that lined up around the same area, I'm gonna go ahead and pin those two down to the forehead. And then I'm gonna take the back side of the frontal and just make sure that, again, that the ear tabs are lined up properly. And if my ear tabs are sitting where they are supposed to sit and it's lined up properly, I'm going to go ahead and take a pin to the back of my frontal to make sure that it's pinned down where I need to sew it on at. So even when I'm using a regular frontal, sometimes I have to like keep readjusting. It's very important to like keep readjusting to make sure it fits, than to just be in such a rush to get it down and then your wig doesn't fit properly. I'd rather you just keep readjusting it on the cap to make sure that it's gonna actually, you know, fit, and it's not gonna have like any weird wrinkling or anything. Okay, and then once you lay everything down, you should have like an easy line of where you're sewing it. Okay guys, so I just quickly tried it on to make sure it fits. I think it's gonna fit. If it doesn't, it's okay. It's not a big deal. I do have a new wig cap. I just want to try on the old wig cap and see. But now what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to look at everything, kind of line everything up and see what I need to cut and what I need to keep. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of trim the excess wig cap off. Alrighty guys, so now that I have the two frontals kind of separated where I can see where I stitched at, I'm going to go ahead and cut out my frontal and my excess cap. So you don't want to cut the threading, so you want to make sure that you're looking on both sides to make sure you don't cut the threading. If you leave a little bit of excess black cap, that's okay. That's better than accidentally cutting your threading, because then your whole frontal can accidentally come unloose and then all the work that you just did will be for nothing. So I prefer to just leave a little bit of excess if that just makes me feel safer. On a new wig cap, all of this would be wig cap. There wouldn't be a frontal here. I'm gonna leave this little piece right here on just to see if I need it, because I'm not sure. My frontal was a little short on the side, so I'm gonna leave this on just in case I need it. So I'm not gonna cut that out just yet. I'm gonna try it on again with that part still on and see if I need to keep that part included. So this amount right here will be the amount of wig cap you would originally be cutting off of a new wig cap if you made the two frontals sewn together. And again, you see how small of a space they're given for frontals now. There's not really. So I had a wig cap. I mean, I had a frontal on this wig originally. It was bald, and so I bought a new frontal to add to it. So when I was doing that, I realized that my frontal wasn't the same size. So I actually couldn't sew the frontal to the wig cap like how I originally did. I had to keep some of the old frontal on there and sew the frontal to the front. I remember I told you guys I have to cut some of this excess lace off. Just because it was balding from the original frontal. So I just have to cut that off and like do my baby hairs just to like reframe it to my face. But once I lay my wig down, my wig will fit. My cap does still fit. It's just you're gonna have less room for tracks because you have more of a frontal, but my cap still fits where I can put my hair up into like a bun and stuff, what I like to do. This isn't a straight part, but it gives you guys an idea of how deep of a parting space I have now. You guys see that? Really deep parting space now. It goes all the way to back here. I like that because when you have a short frontal, this creates a hump when you have your tracks way up here, because your tracks would normally start way up here and it creates a hump. But this is going to give me a flatter install like I have leave out, and you can't even see the stitching through the front of the wig. So this is how much hot comb that section that I parted out to cover my tracks with. Sometimes what I do, if my hair is like really wavy at the root, sometimes what I'll do is I'll add water to the
Hey guys, so I just wanted to film a little quick outro to my video. I just wanted to show you guys how the frontal wig that I made looks in like natural sunlight, but of course it would rain today, but still I just wanted to make sure I got this outro filmed. So I just want to give you guys a quick look of the frontal. These are my baby hairs. It did end up matching ear to ear for me. And then this is the part that we were all excited about, the deep parting space. Really deep parting space, you guys. And I can still put my wig up in a bun and a ponytail like I like to do. So yeah, only other thing I did do that I didn't record is for the back part where the frontal was at, and then the wig cap, I did sew those together to make it tighter, but it didn't cause any buckling or anything. It fit perfectly. So I hope you guys try this out. If you do try it, tag my Instagram Kim_Shire6 and let me know how it worked out for you guys.